Chatter. Chatter, chatter. I am God and I never fail. Chatter, chatter. Yesterday, today and forever the same. Chatter, chatter. Chatter, remember.
Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant. Life's persistent and most urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Charity is a supreme virtue and the great channel through which the mercy of God is passed unto mankind. It is the virtue that unites men and inspires their noblest efforts. The acts of charity displayed by Chief Lolo, Mrs. Magdalene Nwaka Agada, the President and CEO of Open Hands Amazing Charitable Organization, New York, USA and UK, did not just happen. It runs in her family DNA. Chief Lolo, Mrs. Magdalene Nwaka Agada, is the fifth child of late Chief Lawrence Ewere Ikenye and late Mrs. Josephine Ikenye from IBUZOR Delta State. Her late father, Chief Lawrence Ikenye, was from Umwesabwa, IBUZOR, a very generous, kind, peaceful and down-to-earth father. He was a retired banker. He taught all his children good morals and values and showered love to everyone around him. He was highly respected by everyone while he was alive. He was from a royal family. Lola's mother, Mrs. Josephine Ikenye, was a kind and a great pioneer when she was alive. She was the daughter of late Mr. Jidofuma. Her late mother was a pillar of strength for people around her. Her parents were kind, supportive and generous. They raised their children with kindness and love and prevailed on them to always share with the less privileged, the vulnerable and the needy. These virtuous traits were inherited from both parents at early age by Chief Lolo, Mrs. Magdalene Nwaka Agada. The Open Hands Amazing Charitable Organization has coordinators and pillars of support. They are Chief Aloysius Arinze Chukwuemeka Agada, son of late Wilfred Agada from Amekegede with the local government area of Enugu State, and Mrs. Josephine Ewere, daughter of late Chief Lawrence Ewere Ikenye and late Mrs. Josephine Ikenye. Mrs. Teresa Nwadinume Agada, the daughter of late Mr. Peter Aya of Umuanomegede with the local government of Enugu State. They are the strength and great supporters and coordinators of Open Hands Amazing Charitable Organization, New York, USA and UK. The interventions of the charity include, but not limited to, donation of medical equipment to hospitals and health institutions in Nigeria, granting of seed funds to some individuals to improve their businesses, giving stipends to the elderly and indigent persons in IBUZOR, and most recently, it was all smiles and happiness as indigents and residents of IBUZOR converged in their numbers at St. Augustine's Catholic Church, IBUZOR, on Wednesday, 28th July 2021 for a free medical outreach, the first of its kind in the warm and happy town. The medical outreach was put together by the Open Hands amazing charitable organization, New York, USA and UK, anchored on the philanthropic dispositions of Chief Mrs. Lolo Magdalene Nwaka Agada, President, CEO and founder of the charity. The people, especially the elderly and the indigent ones, turned out in their hundreds and besieged St. Augustine's Catholic Church IBUZOR premises with expectant optimism. They came with various underlying and unsuspected health issues, with a silent prayer that all will be well with them afterwards. First, they were given numbers for ease of consultation, which started with a visit to the vital signs section to find out their blood pressure and sugar levels. Afterwards, they proceeded to the biometrics area, where they are profiled before they interfaced with the health professionals. The consultation areas were divided into eye, general health check, and internal medical checks, with a pharmaceutical area stocked with drugs of different types, analgesics, antibiotics, anti-malaria drugs, multivitamins and supplements, heat rubs, cholesterol and blood sugar and pressure medications, gloves, face masks for patients and health professionals, eye care kits like glasses and appropriate drugs, and many more medications too numerous to mention here. The patients, who are mostly women, after going through the health checks and collecting their prescribed drugs from the pharmacy section, then proceeded to the food section for a sumptuous lunch to aid their healing and recovery process. Some beneficiaries interviewed expressed immense joy and appreciation to the founders and funders of the medical outreach.
Jesus is more than gold, more than gold, more than gold. I've got something more than gold. My brother, my sister, Jesus is more than.
Clara Obi Igboba Abonyo Omeyi Ananu Lobo. If I ever did that, when I want name wine, Lolo Umenejibe Lolo Umenejibe Munye Alphonsus Agada Zanibia Nandi Betna and doctors. Kawabia Vianney free treatment, medical treatment. We announced we widely good. I need more than 350 people or doctors, and we have enough doctors and enough medicine. Chief Alphonsus Agada. Now 1 year Nwaka, 1 year Wayana Pondeka. And I'm not a command. Last week, only I could widows of widows and widowers. Last other week, India could live another when you see your body. One you got 2 months. One a Agada. All the 2 months. Women at your work, when they see there, why can't you? When you get all your when you miss summer, and I'm near you. They are not near any states.
My name is Frank Ogo. Fortunately, I'm related to Chief Mrs. Lolo. Sister Nwaka. I'm very grateful to Open Hand, grateful to everybody who is in support of this. I came here because I brought my brother, who was my brother is down with stroke. Okay. But he's getting back at his feet. So coming here is doing good. So for him to have total check on progress or how far he's healing and just so get some drugs for him too. Okay, so far from what I've seen in the medical outreach, the setup is encouraging. A lot of people are coming. A lot of people who are down, and they get help from this foundation. I'm lucky that I'm happy to. Anytime that I'm called upon to do anything here, maybe help people too, to encourage them to do the same thing that I did. Step by two, the help I got from Open Hand. For them to have good livelihood.
Afamabo Caroline, I'm so happy. It was even one day white free. Nine as the Chineke and Ogozia Majinji. It was even no to one and IBUZOR. Naya Gozia yellow for when ya continue where goes on one.
Nwanne nwaanyị ka ọ bụ ife nna arịọ Chukwu bụ ndụ ogologo ka o nwere ndụ otu o si wee si ebe a bịa kpọtawa onye anyị ọgwụgwọ triti anyị ka Chineke buru ụzọ kpere azụ ọ na-emekwa ka o si eme Chineke agadị ya bụrụ eze bụrụ onye ndu ya.
Good afternoon. You have a moment to say a word to us or to the organizers of this event. Giving a one day about this free medical outreach. Okay.
Okay, my name is Ojemba.Tv. We are only maka ife one anyị nwanyị na ndị otu ewetara anyị IBUZOR. Ife anyị ka Chukwu gọzie ezinụlọ ha ka ebunuche niile mezue n'isi ya Chukwu chebe anyị ka ọgwụ anyị ga-ala ọ dịghị mma n'ahụ gọzie ndị niile bịa ịlụ ọrụ anyị.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Because one I have again.
I'm going to choose small bush.
Okay.
Damian Bush.
All right. They go be the guitar and they hand remember.
Obi asaka more na deliver you I'm very grateful to the Madinene for
so can you not go in and check over on her? Can you not go in and check over her and remember?
Okay, even I will to you me. I do any and goes in the see people who know each other.
Glass what the gun chop vacancy get glass e won me mana Chukwu abeme work time we test sie maka ọlịa ndị ọzọ nyesie m ọgwụ m dị fụ na pa masị ngwa m ji efo nke anya abịa nje na nke anya pa onye m ọgwụ eye drop weri glass nye m abịa nsị na nwaanyị emefe nke ga-adịla ma God Almighty will bless her. Her generation will never lack. She will live long more than her parents. In the mighty name of Jesus. Her children will surround her table. I pray this with all my heart.
I am God and I never fail. Yesterday, today and forever the same. Remember.
This medical outreach is coming on the heels of two previous charity events targeted at the physically challenged and the elderly. First, it was an event to support physically challenged and less privileged persons with cash gifts and other aids, followed by payment of 5,000 naira stipend to countless elderly and less privileged persons in IBUZOR. All these interventions are coming with an assuring promise by Chief Mrs. Lolo Nwaka Agada that more medical outreaches will be held in Enugu and IBUZOR later in the year, with a plan to support those who have need for various medical issues needing eye and other surgeries to get back to good health. Aside these acts of charity, she has also empowered some young people with allied industrial training, providing them with working tools and seed funds running into hundreds of thousands of naira. Plus, numerous individuals she has supported financially to help them get through the tough economic times in Nigeria.
Let there be light and the world begin.
In his remarks after witnessing the medical outreach, the Ewere of IBUZOR, Chief Ewere, said the efforts of Chief Mrs. Lolo Nwaka Agada has resonated all over IBUZOR and left a good taste in people's mouths and a good feeling in their hearts, and called on other well-meaning indigents to emulate her good gesture.
But the little I've seen this evening, I think it's something that very encouraging. Very full of our sister who decided to do this. Looking at the medication, the pile of medication there, I think it's not a chicken feed, what you see there. So all I can say is that may God continue to bless her as she remembers to bless the vulnerable. These are vulnerable people, and the truth is that what she's doing today is being talked about around the town. So Jeff na IBUZOR Galia, onye ọbụla na-ekwu maka ife n'ebe na St. Augustine's Catholic Church, ya bụ ife nwanne anyị wee na-eme. Ụmụ ife anyị ga-ekwu ọtụtụ ekpele ka anyị jila ebe ọ bụ na olote ndị niwe họni ndị ahụ na-ede họ si ka anyị na-ewe anya ọ Chukwu ga-agọzi ezinụlọ a, so Chukwu agọzi ya na di ya na ụmụ. Thank you, sir.
Also in an interview during the outreach, Chief Charles Okonkwo, the Odogwu of IBUZOR, thanked God for giving IBUZOR such a daughter in Chief Mrs. Lolo Nwaka Agada and using her to touch the lives of IBUZOR people. He also prayed for God's blessings on her.
For my sister who runs this, I call it NGO also. Yeah, it's Open Hands Amazing Charitable organization. And is health related. The little thing I've seen here, it's amazing. You know, it's not all that easy to have open hands and then give to the privileged and to the poor. You know, in terms of health, they say health is wealth. Without health, there is nothing else anybody can do. If you are not healthy, you can't walk, you can't farm, you can't live. So health is wealth. So I give thanks to God for IBUZOR having such a daughter. You know, and I pray that God will continue to increase her coast so that she will do more of these selfless efforts to the poor and less privileged, because they are the ones who bear the brunt in this hard time and this hard country. And that's my take and that's my message. So I give God glory and I thank her for doing it. She shouldn't relent, she should continue. The reward is not, I actually don't believe that reward is always in heaven. Her reward will be here on earth, in addition to her reward in heaven. So she will get her reward for what good work. Even na one name we friend that now all the hell is the mother nearly aka. Because when we have opportunity to with all the oguncha who put a neighbor and a lot of people that we are treated there. All health, I hold them my house cake anywhere. So if you go to go about me, to go again, I hold them my don't see me from one mobile where I hold them my to go again. No organic, you don't go sink. Then I dare no more. No, if I'm not here, I'm not going. Even to every no do anything there to go and
Something more than gold. I've got something more than gold. Something more than gold. I've got something more than gold. If all I've got is Jesus, I've got something more than gold. I'll tell it to the world. Jesus is more than gold, more than gold, more than gold. deep as for water, so my soul longs for you. Forever and ever, yes, my heart beats for you. As the deep as for water.